Heidi-ho! The name's Matallix, and well, I'm sure you read the title. I've been pondering the idea of making anything akin to a Storytime video for a while now, and when I actually thought, what would I do? My mind instantly jumped to, I love the band Ghost. Everyone knows I love the band Ghost. The band Ghost is basically my entire personality. Why don't I narrate or tell in anecdote form how I got to know this band, and why it means so much to me? And well, here I am. Without too much further ado, let's begin, I guess. Okay, so it's 2022, right? Say June, early June, / right before June, I met someone whom, if you've watched any of my other videos, you might recognize her name, Bowie, my best friend, who I met over 3 years ago now. We became friends relatively quickly, and we just sort of started speaking. And we found out we had a common interest in Bendy and the Ink Machine. I draw a lot, and well, she saw me drawing a giant Bendy head on a whiteboard. So that sort of sparked that. And then, not too long after, she sort of tried to introduce me to her music taste. And on one very fateful 6th of June 2022, she made me a playlist called Walkman. Now, at the time, I was completely oblivious to anything and everything in relation to music. So, to me, the title of the playlist was the most random thing I've ever heard. And, well, the playlist was rock, metal, whatever you can think of in that spectrum. And one of the songs just so happened to be Ritual by Ghost. Now, at the time, I would listen to the playlist in full, not think much of anything, just sort of listen. Over time, so over the next couple of days, I sort of started growing attached to one singular song, the aforementioned Ritual. And for a while, it was just, oh yeah, I like this song. It's in this playlist I listen to, that's cool. But after a while, after some real life drama with Bowie, I went back and further investigated the song I really liked. And through the power of the internet, I found out that the band Ghost is a thing that exists. At first, I was so very extremely confused with anything and everything to do with it, because at the time, I was really oblivious to literally anything outside of my interests. And for me, this was quite the odd thing, as someone who was obsessed with Mario, Rayman, Baldi's Basics, as said, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Chucky, you know, you get it. Anything I put my mind on finding stuff about, I will do as much research as humanly possible. Within not too long, I had completely eaten up Ghost's discography and absolutely adored it. Some songs didn't quite click with me at first, but, you know, regardless, I became a bit of a Ghost fan myself. I started branding my socials with Papa 4, putting pentagrams and crucifixes in my art, really basic nerdy stuff that no one would really pay much attention to. Following this, I became active on Ghost Twitter, as they call it, and I was up to date on tours, on new songs. The first Ghost release I was a fan for was Phantomime. I remember staying up until midnight that day to be able to listen to it immediately. Now, another fact is, I was barely aware of the concept of covers, which was kind of odd considering my current form of content. Regardless, I listened to Phantomime thinking they were all original songs, and many Ghost songs I thought were original. All of If You Have Ghost and Pope Star, I thought were original Ghost songs. They just had a really diverse music genre, which they do, but that sort of exemplified that idea for me, which wasn't actually true when I later found out they were indeed covers of songs by other people, /bands, /artists. After drama with Bowie was resolved and I was now a proclaimed Ghost fan as much as her, we just sort of talked about that, or at least I tried to talk about it and sound like an expert, but I actually wasn't an expert just yet. You know, it all started as a simple, fun hobby that I developed. I would listen to them on streaming services and stuff like that. But then over time, I started to grow what I can only refer to as an obsession. I watched a ton of concert videos, read up on apparent lore the band had, and just over the course of the last year and a half, I essentially became something more than just a fan. I started collecting their music CDs, which was the first ever time I had collected any form of physical media. I started hanging on posters on the wall of the band, you know, small stuff. But then small stuff over and over ends up accumulating, and now I can confidently say I've spent over 400 euros on merch, music, and other miscellaneous things in relation to the band. Do I regret it? No, I do not. Now, over the course of these past 2-3 years, nothing has compared to the experience that Ghost's Right Here, Right Now film allowed me to have. People around me always seem to take music mildly. To them it's just something fun to listen to on occasion and that's it. But as someone who limited their music taste to video game soundtracks or songs, back in the day, as they say, this band, being Ghost, has opened my taste and views so far wider than I would have ever imagined. Like, let's just say that little over 3 years ago, you wouldn't have caught me dead listening to pop music or heavy metal and rock. My most listened to Ghost album, for my CDs anyway, is Ceremony and Devotion. I love live music. I had never really cared for it, but it took a single listen of Papa 3 guiding the crowd through Monstrance Clock and I was utterly hooked. On April of 2024, Ghost dropped a teaser on their YouTube channel. Now, I was on a small vacation at the time and I wasn't able to immediately watch it, but the title being a popcorn emoji was rather intriguing. And so when I watched and saw coming soon to cinemas worldwide, let's just say I was quite excited. Then little over a month later, the film was revealed. Ghost, Right Here, Right Now, haunting cinemas worldwide June 20th through June 23rd of 2024. Now, I kid you not, I was in an exam as the trailer came out, and knowing this, I may or may not have rushed to finish my exam to watch it as it came out. I have priorities, okay? And so it wasn't very long until we eventually bought tickets to go see it on release day. That same day, we got the first single of the soundtrack, that being Absolution live at the Forum 2023. Now, I was expecting Papa to sound as he does in concert, more akin to the Mariana Cross Town Pop performance, but when I heard his really over-the-top, higher-pitched voice, I think I fell in love with Tobias' voice all over again. Wait a month and a bit, and now, et voila, the movie was just around the corner. Now this time, I only had a few Ghost shirts, nothing fancy to wear to the cinema, but oh well. And we eventually sat down and the movie began. 2 hours and 15 minutes later, my life was irreversibly changed. I've never been really into concerts or into the metal rock live scene, but it was very clear to me that nowadays, Ghost was one of, if not, the best in the business. And from all the concert videos I'd watched and all the old and newer performances online, nothing could have prepared my face for the pain I would feel for smiling for so long. I was purely and just completely in awe at every second of it. This thing I had come to love so dearly, culminating in this massive event I get to experience and share with everyone I love. From the Saga Until Now intro to the debut of The Future is a Foreign Land, it was all so exciting and amazing to have lived through firsthand. No movie is perfect, but in my eyes, Ghost's Right Here, Right Now is probably one of the best pieces of media I've ever consumed. And I've consumed it well over 200 times by this point, so. The movie opens with a segment called The Saga Until Now, which is essentially a very summarized recap of the Ghost lore. From there, we enter the Kia Forum one night in September of 2023, which is where the film takes place. Now, I'm not gonna describe every single bit of it, let's just be honest. It's a total of 20 minutes of lore segments and a 2.5-hour movie. It is basically a concert movie. But Ghost is a band after all, so I wouldn't have it any other way. Not only is every single song shot beautifully, but the mixing and the streaming service and cinema releases, not the DVD and Blu-ray releases, are so perfect in my opinion. Papa doesn't overpower the ghouls, but neither do they overpower him. The guitars are mixed somewhat weirdly from what I've heard, but they sound fine to me. And as many people loved, the bass is extremely audible but not too loud. The concert part was filmed over 3 nights and 2 actual shows. Obviously, as many have gathered, Papa's singing voice was redone in studio, or at least not done on one of the nights with a crowd. But in spite of many people hating this, I honestly do not really care. He sounds amazing all the same. As for any highlights of the film, we of course finally got to see the long-awaited debut of 20s live, and as someone who already liked the song and didn't need this to finally reel them in, it made me enjoy it that much more. Of course, we have the chamber version of If You Have Ghosts. I may have shed a tear or two at the cinema. It's so empowering to see how Ghost managed to call the song their own while still honoring the fact they didn't write it. There's also the new Mariana Cross music video, and it's so fulfilling to see Nil's story being continued. And in what a way! It completely embraces the stupid Scooby-Doo chase music joke with its art style and idea. It's so great. And last, but most definitely not least, is The Future is a Foreign Land. I was like the only one in my cinema who managed to not go to the bathroom during the movie, so I didn't miss it. And honestly, social commentary at its finest right there. It's the crude reality we appear to live in, as tragic as that may be. Right Here, Right Now is a movie as As an experience and as a concert movie, it's probably one of the best things I'll ever have the chance to be there for. Since then, my obsession has just grown more and more. I've bought the official Cornucopia plush, the official Popeye vs. 4 plush, along with bootlegs of those two I already had. I've completed my CD collection with their full discography, available on CD anyways. I spent most of my day, if not all of it, singing Ghost songs, watching Ghost videos, re-watching Ghost concert videos. It's all just been such a fun ride. Obviously, on April 30th of this year, we were supposed to have the Madrid Skeletor ritual, which was very regrettably cancelled because of the venue, fucking basketball league that wouldn't let Ghost move it to the Movistar Arena. But what am I to do? Hopefully, on the next tour, they come to Madrid and we get the show we so deserve, as they said. It's all been a really fun ride so far, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I just want to thank my best friend Bowie for introducing me to this really odd world when you think about it, but it's so amazing all the same. I just want to make it known that this band has so genuinely helped me through some really tough stuff, and just is now a crucial part of my life, who I don't know if I'd be able to live without. At the time of recording this, the Skeletor still has the 3 Mexico shows left, which I hope go wonderfully, and we finally get some Elizabeth footage for Cool Bangers Ball, but I don't really know what else to say. If you have Ghost, you do indeed have everything. But, well, anyways, I have to go edit now, so adieu!